Hello there, this is Anonymous Anime Critic. In this video I will review the anime Gorilla God's Go-To Girl. The video will go so that firstly I will explain some of the plot to you so that you can get a general idea about the anime. I will do this intentionally badly so that you will not get too many spoilers. Then I will tell you some things I didn't like about the anime and then some things I liked about the anime, and in the end I will grade it from 4 to 10, 4 being horrible dribble and 10 being the greatest piece of anime ever to exist. But before any of that kind of thing, as this week's helpful tip, I would suggest that you look into investing in crypt Christmas decorations now when they might be cheaper. Unless you are watching this in the winter, in which case you are months too late. Everything is expensive, Christmas is a commercial, you failed, Christmas is ruined, better luck next summer. Except you won't remember then either, you forgetful, pitiful person, animal, thing, or existentially abstract entity, you. Or you could be financially responsible and not have anyone to love at all. That might lead you into making some weird YouTube videos that no one will ever see, but hey, actually I might need to rethink some things. For now, let's begin. The main character of this story is Sophia Reeler, a not too important noble girl with a lot of anxiety and no discernible friends or close family to speak of. Sophia wants to remain as a side character and especially not important. Well, there is this quinceañera or confirmation or some generic blessing ritual where everyone gets given their superpower and oh no, who could have guessed? Sophia Reeler doesn't get to be a side character because she has gotten the powers of a gorilla. Hence the name of the anime, Gorilla God's Go-To Girl. Although a more telling name would have been Gorilla Girl Super Soldier, The Awakening, or something equally generic and Hollywood. Sophia is then pushed by her school to take an entrance exam into a military training program, which sounds very authoritarian and draconian, but this anime is a comedy, so don't think about that. Sophia goes to the military exam not wanting to succeed, but she eventually realizes that being the overpowered MC is okay, especially when there are male models with margarine lathered thighs running around you in slow motion. This is to say, there is a love interest that piques Sophia's interest. Sophia gets accepted into the night training program, mainly though because the writers of the anime don't quite understand how strong a gorilla really is. Sophia though wants to keep her gorilla powers and her acceptance into the training program a secret because she doesn't want to be embarrassed by seeming unwomanly or bullied by her female classmates who apparently might get jealous of her for getting to be close to those hunky, margarine-lathered knights in training. I don't want to give any more than this away, so let's just say that there are bullies, balls, not that kind, romance and unnatural catastrophe, plus some other shenanigans.
Things I didn't like about the anime.
The anime. Okay, so this is a super minor thing. Not really even a minus to anyone but me. But the internet likes hot takes, and in episode 6, a male love interest says this following line to the main character: "To think I couldn't define my feelings until someone told me. What kind of a man am I?" So, if nothing tells you that this is a wild fantasy anime, if the superpowers, the weirdly gamey music, or the fact that no one has any zits on their face, despite everyone being like 15 to 18 years old, then this sentence will break the illusion. Because there is nothing that is more descriptive of a man than not being able to deal with complex emotions and talk about them. Here in the Nordics, men tell their feelings usually while drunk, which is not maybe the most effective way of communicating. Could I get them could I get the mega thing with the extra thing? Do you mean a hot dog? We sell hot dogs here. No, the thing the thing the dude said to try a hot dog, perhaps. No, drink. It was like the drink. A Coke? No, the kebab roll. Do you have the kebab roll? The tiny, the hand-sized. No, we don't sell kebab. This is a hot dog stand. Is it dog? Why do you sell dog, my man? That's cruel. What's going on here? Do you want a hot dog or not? Rum and Coke. Leave now. You are disturbing the other customers. I'll have a hot dog, please. There it is! Although we invented the text message some decades ago, and now it's much easier to tell your feelings to your sweethearts, all without alcohol, which isn't always pretty. Anyway, to say that a man should talk about his feelings because he's a man is a bit like saying a wood chipper can handle vascular surgeries because it chops wood. This anime's insinuation is weird. I do appreciate a lot of the complexity on the anime and to have this type of a moment where two characters who have feelings for each other confess them and that it's hard to confess them. However, couldn't you have the female characters who are clearly in love fully confessing their feelings first in these types of animes? I personally would see it as more refreshing. Like in real life, a person might not think about you in a romantic way unless you talk about your feelings. And that is done by using your words and not always a messy text message. Sophia seemed to catch feelings first in this anime, but it felt to me like the man had to properly confess first, because men usually have to confess their feelings in romantic stories first for some reason, and that's a bit of a stuffy idea, isn't it? Some change would be nice there. Okay, I won't maybe count this stuff as a minus, but the next thing though. I didn't like the background music in some of the scenes. I was too aware of it and it didn't complement the scenes always. I think that maybe if the sound of the music would have been a bit more quiet and there would have been less of the stylophone or the bell type sound, it would have maybe been a bit more immersive. And this is a small thing, and this was the case in some scenes and not all scenes. And I'm also sure it's personal and a lot of other people won't notice it like me, But yeah, I think the music could have been at some moments a bit more downplayed. Yeah, okay. I mentioned it. If there is some big anime snob who really hates being aware of background music in some scenes, you have been warned. Not sure if there is anyone like that anywhere, but if there is, you're welcome. You phenomenally weird person, you. And then there is this. Pants on in sauna. You should be nude. Also, you aren't hitting yourselves with branches of a tree. I mean, what the hell is this nonsense? I bet half of you haven't even heard of the sauna gnome. It's ridiculous. This is just offensive and ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Annoyingly, this type of an anime typically contains sexual harassment that is unnecessary for the story and mostly unvilified. That happens also in this anime. For example, in episode 8, the teacher slash commanding officer of Sophia spots her on his day off and starts stalking her. In the end, he closes in on her and starts suggesting that they go on a date, which she is not clearly into and is weirded out about. Then he jokingly tries to order her to go on a date. Now, I would be fine with this sort of stuff if it was shown as bad or wrong or at least serious in some way. But I don't think it is in this anime. There are even some shades of the storytelling that could show him as a love interest possibility, despite Sophia's character not showing interest like this at all, which I just found kind of weird and conflicted about. And yeah, it was just weird. And it kind of thing, like this kind of thing happens again with the main antagonist harassing Sophia at a ball and later drugging her by force feeding her a sleeping pill with an unwanted kiss. And later Sophia wakes up in a weird place with different clothing on. I like that at least in these scenes the actions were done by the bad guy and they were story-wise shown as more as bad things, but I think it was completely unnecessary to have this much sexual harassment and or assault in an anime that I think tries to be more lighthearted. So I ask, why can't the characters keep it in their pants? Or if they can't, why can't it at least be treated as a bad thing? I don't understand why it can't be treated as a bad thing when it clearly is. A weird thing that I noticed was that Sophia Reeler, who again is the overpowered main character, seems to fall into danger quite often, and she is consistently being rescued by men who are much weaker than her. Many must have also noticed how the bully group and the love interests are quite basic and they could kind of be from any other reverse harem or academy isekai type story. Everyone is sort of what you expect and there doesn't seem to be much complexity to these characters. You can guess what the characters are like for the rest of the series after seeing them once. I'm jealous, I want revenge, I'm in love, I feel awkward, I'm hangry, I feel a weird itch, I wonder if it's something serious, and so on. You know, the basic character archetypes. And even the few twists that come when a few characters actually change, those changes are not impactful or very exciting. And Sophia is sort of the perfect picture of this. The story wants a dainty Princess Peach to be rescued, while in fact the story establishes that she has all the strength of Kong or Bowser, but that doesn't seem to affect the story enough. It's not taken into account, which makes the story feel like it doesn't know itself. The one exception, I thought, was the main antagonist, whose plot seemed for a moment more complex and you actually thought it could affect the ending. However, his badness was shoved down the viewer's throat with the already mentioned sick amount of sexual harassment peanut butter, which sat in between two weirdness pieces of bread and was topped off with an anticlimactic cherry, making him a true disappointment sandwich. During what dark hour of a sleepless school night did I write this crap? Well, it will have to do. Some of the dialogue, especially to do with the male love interests, was frankly useless. It's hammering the same facts at the viewer many times and it's kind of unbelievable. You love this girl is good-hearted, she must eat rainbows to get a smile like that, etc. We know. But there comes a point when hearing the same thoughts becomes boring. With good storytelling, you could just establish the same thing with shy, lingering looks. You don't need 2 or 3 minutes explaining the same thing. Hearing the side characters just say how great any one character, regardless of their gender, is a bit unrealistic after a certain point. And contrary to what my accent makes me sound like, I am not the biggest idiot in Finland. That would be these guys who were told to hold these vases for a minute by their mom, and they have unfortunately turned to stone for not moving for decades. So I do get that the point of a harem anime is escapism. It's nice to see yourself as a character who is loved, who is powerful, who is important, who is wealthy, who is wanted, and most importantly, who is drawn with a feature that makes you unique. But when have you ever seen a harem anime that develops organically or believably? I've been thinking about this and I can't remember seeing one. This story does trip slightly on the boring and unbelievable dialogue, but luckily this anime does good things as well with its love story, and that's a neat sentence that leads me to say
Things I liked about the anime.
although the main character falls into a one-dimensional type, I do like her. She is socially awkward and anxious, she's well-meaning and kind, the type that a heroic knight or a regular cashier should be, although only one has the ability to not sell you an energy drink. The fact that Sophia is given so much power, although she doesn't seem to want it and can't in the beginning control it, brings a lot of comedy into the show. Seeing a character try to do her best while being oblivious to other characters' social clues is sweet. Maybe the show leans a bit too much into the helplessness, but there is a genuine courage the main character shows. She is interesting, clearly written, and she makes the story feel watchable some of the time. Of course, I'll also have to say that this is nothing new, and we have maybe seen too many main characters who are awkward, kind, and become overpowered in anime. But as a positive, this means that most people can easily follow and understand the hero's journey in the anime, while the animal-based powers make the fantasy world feel unique enough so that the story is watchable and can make its own extremely narrow space in this big genre. The story, for the most part, is easily watchable, especially if you are doing light housework like washing the dishes or cleaning the floors or inspecting why the door smells weird while watching the show. And yes, while doing housework, you might not catch all the anime has to offer, but that doesn't matter because you know the genre and you know from that how the story will end. So enjoy the ride and the occasional giggle. The story is clear, it's romantic, it has some action and some comedy so that you can get some entertainment value while waiting on Chainsaw Man's next season to get ready. Because the anime is lighthearted, you won't get too worked up before going to sleep, except for maybe the end and some KISSINGINTREE scenes, if you like that sort of thing. The story is not meant to be a heavy hitting in the Invincible show uh, style, pondering on the ethics of power, responsibility, and human interaction. I think those who usually like not so serious and fun romance anime will maybe enjoy this. It's not too deep, and as long as you don't mind thinking about it too much, it's nice to watch. Not great to watch, but nice to watch. The humor in this anime is mostly slapstick type stuff. It's mostly Sophia not being able to control her gorilla powers. You know, the typical hero tries to open the door and the handle comes off, or oh, let me carry these big heavy things for you, you puny man. I am a girl and you're a man, so that's funny, or something like that. I don't know. Um, the Gorilla God also appears on the screen from time to time to flex his muscles, agree with the main character, and look funny. The other big part that brings humor are the men in the anime doing all sorts of weird stuff, including trying to, hate this word, riz Sophia. Like this. Which do I pick? Which do I pick? I wish your sister was not in prison. I wish your sister could see you now. I wish you were your sister. I wish I were your sister. Well, they're all good ones. Let's try C. Ooh. Excuse me, I have some snap messages to destroy. The animation is good, but not amazing. I liked the colors, especially Sophia's hair, which pops off nicely. I also liked the different places and atmospheres depicted. There was a lot of change in the places, which brought a sense of adventure and added a sense of intimacy to more high stakes moments. The animation, however, is quite similar to other romance slash harem animes, which I won't list as examples because is lazy, or whatever they say in Sloth Mattress, sleep all day, too lazy to figure out a working slogan incorporated. Typically, in this type of an anime, many regular peasant side characters hero worship the protagonist and hate the generic Demon King bad guy. However, in this anime, the blessings have made a stark division between the lucky ones who are aristocratic with good blessings and those whose blessings are crap. Like from the Grab God. I mean, what are you really going to do with that claw that you couldn't with a thick pair of nail scissors? In this anime, the bad guys are people who want to change the system and better the lives of peasants, which you might think would bring some questions about the morality of society and a choice on who Sophia is going to support, but it doesn't. This is because the bad guy is stupid with his evil plans and just very, very evil. The protagonist, Sophia, never recognizes any moral qualms about the society and the military organization she is a part of. Well, that's not exactly true. She does, but it's a very naive thing she says, and in one scene. It was something like, "Oh, those poor peasants, I sure wish they had something to eat. Well, nothing I can do about that." And then she walks away to have dinner. The fact that the show chooses to show how blessings that are inherently part of a person can be valued cruelly, and how much grief and anguish an aristocratic unequal system can bring to people is nice. There are very nice deep tones of acknowledging some real world issues. However, the show doesn't go quite deep enough. In the end, you could say that Sophia is a brainwashed child soldier who felt a bit pressured to go into military training where she is the victim of continuous sexual harassment. Some of the aristocrats are poor peasant children murderers, and the people who have decided to stand up against the system are evil sexual harassment terrorists. So yeah, there is no deep message in season 1, and if there is, boy is it twisted. So I like what the show tried to do with these deep tones, but I think they should have gone a bit more to a Robin Hood type direction, or the protagonist could maybe have recognized like truly what's really bad about the world she lives in. I also sometimes wonder how much the hierarchical Japanese culture is responsible for heroes in anime not liking to rock the boat or just like overthrow the government. It's sometimes it's a bit of a missed opportunity. I also have to say that I have not read the graphic novels about this anime. So technically, it's possible that everything will change in season 2 or season 3 or something. I don't know. Now, this is kind of a neutral thing and kind of a positive thing in my eyes, but I don't think, based on watching season 1 of this reverse harem anime, that this anime is actually a reverse harem. It's more a somewhat intimate love story. I mean, Sophia is very clearly into one guy and has a few extremely sexually frustrated friends and enemies and a stalker. Maybe the graphic novel about this, which this anime is based on, contains some very complex arc where Sophia agrees to have multiple boyfriends or agrees to go on dates with different guys or something like that, which, if the case, would make this a bit of a soap opera type drama for any coming seasons. I have discerned 3 equally possible ways which would organically lead the anime to become a reverse harem in a possible season 2. Option 1, a multiverse mess where a Sophia from a different dimension comes to bring news that she is dating her uncle and must stop that and start dating multiple other partners instead. Option 2 involves an apocalypse caused by angry animal gods killing everyone who ate animals, not including Sophia and some random guys. And option 3 has Sophia crowned the queen, which brings her obligations to have multiple husbands. And yes, there is a reason why I don't write graphic novels for a living. It has something to do with too much imagination. Or not enough. It could be both, actually. At the same time, yeah. Something like that. Anyway, I don't write graphic novels for a living. But hey, these are free ideas. Take it or leave it, or you probably will leave it, but I understand. To sum up, the review. The Gorilla God's Go-To Girl is a fun and light-hearted romantic comedy that tries to recognize some harshness and inequality in its fantasy world. At times, the plot of the anime seems too slow and the characters are too basic. If looked at deeply, the typical misogyny and the militaristic system of oppression might stir up some negative emotions. However, a regular viewer will probably have a fun time with this anime because romance, comedy, and the hero story are good. At least I enjoyed them and had an alright time. I wasn't nearly as bored and confused while watching this as I was with the Rick and Morty anime. I'll rate this anime as a generous 6 out of 10, mostly because Sophia is a joyful and interesting main character. If this anime were an animal, it would be a chicken trying to host a barbecue show. Fun to look at if you don't think about it too hard, but if you think about it, it's weird and morally confusing. Yeah, I think this was enough. Goodbye. The video will go so that firstly I will explain some of the plot of this anime to you so that you can get a general some very weird YouTube videos that no one will ever see, but hey, actually I have to. Okay, that is annoying. Yeah, that's annoying. Sophia gets accepted into the night training program. Night. Did I say that so that you understand it? Night. I'll have to listen to this again. There is some type of a dog battle. First it was outside and now it's inside, and I don't understand. I don't understand. Someone decided to mow the lawn, which is nice, but couldn't they have done it some other day? And the second I get out of this place where I'm recording, I know it's going to stop. It's going to stop. I go, oh no, I'll do this later, this last bit. To sum up the review, that probably, you can probably hear that as well. I really need to go and record this stuff somewhere else.